Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Take a guess as to what watch I'm reviewing today. Yes, you got it right. It is the Citizen Blue Angels chronograph. Massive thank you to a subscriber called David. David is a cargo pilot from Florida and he has sent me a number of plane related t-shirts in the past, including this one. I bet you David is a member of the Mile High Club. Anyway, back to the watch. You saw the pop-up, I'm sure. This one was sent to me for free last year by Jomashop. I do not have to send it back. Jomashop are very good. All they ever ask of me is that if you're keen on one of these or pretty much anything else, I direct you to their website. These are $3.99 on the leather strap that I've got, $3.99 on the bracelet, both in stock. Take your pick. I'll leave links in the description of the video. I always say this, even if you don't end up buying from Jomashop, you'd be mad not to at least use them as a bit of a price reference. They often have the sharpest prices of anybody. They can do this because they are a grey market retailer. What that means is the watch is the same, the packaging is the same. The only thing that's different is the warranty. They cover the warranty themselves. So do bear that in mind. Now, I did say I got this one last year from Jomashop. It's made a couple of cameos since then. I unboxed it in July last year and I included it in a top 10 pilot's watch roundup a couple of months ago. Two questions have to be answered in today's video then. One, is it any good? And two, why has it taken me so bloody long to review it? Let's flip the camera and find out. So I'll hopefully answer the first question, is it any good, over the course of the video. I will answer the second question, why did it take me so long? Now, with reference to the instruction manual. That instruction manual is so thick it would choke a donkey. 76 pages, all in English. You know I'm not very good with instruction manuals. If you buy one of these Blue Angels, you better make friends with the instruction manual. You don't have much choice, I'm afraid. Well, that's not quite true. This watch is radio controlled, i.e. it is set to the atomic clock. So if you happen to live within 3,000 kilometers of one of the world's atomic clock antenna, then this thing will pretty much take care of itself. It tunes in automatically at 2 in the morning every night to get the correct time. Unfortunately, Australia is not within 3,000 kilometers of one of the world's atomic clock antenna, so I had to set it manually. But not before I had a couple of cracks at setting it using some atomic clock app on my phone. I downloaded one of these, pressed the start button. Oh, listen to that hideous screaming noise. Press and hold the B button here, which puts it into atomic clock set mode. Angled it all together and waited. But all I got for my efforts was a bit of a headache. No success, unfortunately. If you live out with the atomic clock zone and you've had better luck than I have, I would love to hear from you. Let me know how you succeeded where I failed. One thing to point out, although I hardly need to point it out before we go on, is this watch is pretty intense. There is a lot of information on that dial. 3 subdials, 6 hands, there's a date complication, there is a slide rule bezel here if you are actually a pilot like David, there's world timer, there's a chronograph feature, there is a ton going on. I took the liberty of counting exactly how many numbers, how many letters and how many markers are on this dial. Are you ready? I counted no less than 145 numerals, 195 letters and 499 markers, though it potentially seems that I've missed one. If you're used to a simple 3-hand or a 3-hand plus date, that could give you anxiety. There is just so much going on. However, if you are a pilot like David and you will use this slide rule bezel occasionally, or at least have it there on your wrist for safety's sake, and you're into this kind of super detailed watch, then I think this is a really good one. It's well sized, 43 millimeters in diameter. Slim though, only 12mm thick, 49 lug to lug. There's a bit of taper down from those lugs as well. You can see them tapering in towards the lugs. 23mm lug width though. I will say it again in case you didn't believe me. 23mm lugs. There's a bit of narrowing from this leather strap down to about 19.5. And on the supplied leather strap, it weighs in at 83 grams. So quite sizable, but quite wearable because it's slim and because it is fairly light. Case finish is quite unusual and quite pleasant. We've got a mix of brush and polish, mostly brush, but there's a polished chamfered edge running all the way around those crown guards. Now, unsigned crown and unsigned pushers, which is fair enough. blue ion plating to that top surface, the top bezel. There's a little sandwich there, a ring of yellow, picking out some of the yellow features on the dial and the yellow features on the inner of the strap. The Blue Angels are the US Navy aerobatic team, and their colours are blue and yellow, hence the tie-in. They're obviously sponsored by Citizen and have been for many years. There are a number of models endorsed by them which feature this colour scheme. Flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective undercoating and 200 metres of water resistance. Again, it's one of these pilot's watches where if you ditch in the ocean, your watch is still going to be fine. And the case back is rather attractive. It's stainless steel. Now it's only press on, but it does have 200 metres of water resistance. It also has that very nice Blue Angels insignia as a centrepiece. I think that's kind of acrylic. It has picked up a couple of scuffs in my time with the watch. And unlike most other case backs that I have seen on the channel, it has those magic words, do not open, service centre repair only. Very, very unusual. One of the benefits of having an eco-drive watch, up to 6 months potential battery life, and you don't tinker around with them yourself. In the rare occasion that it goes wrong, you take it back to the service centre. Now, the leather strap is a good one, quite unusual, perforated almost like a rally style upper, but there is a nylon lower surface in yellow and fantastic hardware, I must say. Really, really nice little Citizen mixture of brushed and polished there on the buckle and the tang. And lume, yeah, well, there is some lume. There is more on the hands than on the indexes. That is fairly obvious from the very moment that you turn off the lights. If I crank the speed up towards the end of the 20 minutes, you can see the indexes aren't glowing all that brightly, but the hands are still hanging on there. It's decent enough for this style of watch. So what does all of this mean and how does all of this work? I will try and explain it very briefly. The three hands in the centre are the most obvious. Hour hand, minute hand and second hand. The second hand, the nice yellow with the Blue Angels counterbalance there, when pressed into service, also acts as a chrono hand. You have a date complication at 3 o'clock. Over at the 9, this is the easiest of the sub-dials. It is just a 24-hour indicator, so it is currently 10 past 9 in the morning. If it was pointing in the opposite direction, it would be 10 past 9 in the evening. 6 o'clock sub-dial, you have a day of the week indicator, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. On the other side, OK, RX and no, that is the atomic clock reception indicator. You press and hold this button to put it into receive mode and it will tell you whether it has received OK or has not received a signal no. On the 12 o'clock, it is a 60-minute chrono, so you have a 60-minute timer here, capable of measuring in the 20ths of seconds down here. On SMT and off, that is summertime indicator, on or off, and on the other side you have a 4-bar power meter. Now that denotes how much charge the watch has at any given time. At the moment I'm sitting somewhere between 2 days and 30 days. If I leave it in the sun, leave it on a window ledge exposed for a couple of days, we'll push up into that yellow zone at the top. That means there's up to 180 days charge from this eco-drive module. Now if you live in the atomic clock zone, the watch will set itself every morning at 2 in the morning. If you don't, then you're stuck with plus or minus 15 seconds per month average. Now that means that you may have to adjust this watch by a minute or so every couple of months, assuming that you are at one or the other end of that range of values. If you're somewhere in the middle though, you might not have to set this one every year or at all, because it is a perpetual calendar. So how does one set it? I'll take a deep breath for this. So if you live in an atomic clock reception zone but you want to set the watch to the atomic clock time at a time other than 2 in the morning, you press and hold the bottom button here, it goes into RX, receiving mode, wait 10 seconds or so, and it should hopefully receive an updated time and reset itself. To do that manually, you just press and hold that button again. If you are out with the atomic clock zone, like what I is, you have to pull the crown out to the first position. Chrono hand will now indicate which time zone of the world timers you have it set to. I am set to ADL at the moment, Adelaide time, which is incorrect for me. So let me adjust that by rolling forward to SYD, Sydney time. Hands will adjust. Press the top pusher here once, then pull the crown out to the second position. Now with the crown out to the second position, you can then adjust the hour and the minute hand. If you do need to adjust it occasionally, that is the way to do it, once every few months if it has lost a minute or so. Press the top pusher again and it will go to the next set mode. The next set mode is the date set mode. You can see here it'll roll forward 1 day or roll backwards 1 day as appropriate. When that has set, you can press the top button again
Oh, there we are. Press it again and it will bring it to the next setting mode, which is the day of the week setting mode. So again, you can see there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I will roll it back to Sunday. One more push of the top button. And here's the most interesting of all, I think. This one sets the month and also the year. So December, January, February, March, April, May. We're in May. There is a little table which I will pop up on screen as well here. You need to set it to either the on the hour or the first minute, second minute, third minute, depending on what year you want to set it to. In theory, like I said, perpetual calendar, this thing you only need to set once. The most I'm going to ever have to do with this watch is adjust the minute occasionally. When I'm all done, push the crown back in and hey presto, we are off. Chrono, if I want to use the chrono, press the top button here and it will bring it into chrono start mode. Everything aligns up at 12 o'clock, press it once to start it. Now 20th of a second, as I said, press it once there and it's coming into, what is that, 4.25 seconds. We can start it again, stop it and reset. That is how to work the Citizen EcoDrive's Blue Angel in a nutshell. That's it on wrist. I have a 7-inch wrist for your reference, which is pretty much average. It doesn't necessarily feel like a big watch because it's slim at only 12mm and 80 grams or thereabouts on this. Leather strap means it doesn't have a huge amount of presence in that sense, but it looks like a big watch because it is kind of a big watch. 43mm in diameter, 49 lug to lug, and so much going on in the dial. I would imagine on the bracelet looks like a quality item, by the way, with a really nice milled clasp, machine clasp. I'd imagine the bracelet would take it up towards 150 grams. So hey, if you're gonna go with this one, maybe you go all in and you do opt for that bracelet. On the leather, it's still wearable, but it is big. And there is obviously a bit of a compromise happening here with this one. Out and out legibility of those three main hands against the overall utility that this watch offers because of the myriad features and functions that it has. Now outside natural light, flat sapphire, they do claim some anti-reflective undercoating, but because it's flat, you do occasionally get that kind of mirror effect, as you can see as I move the watch around. Same applies on wrist as well. You do get that mirror effect from some angles. It's far more legible at some angles than others, therefore. That's it down the wrist. You can see what I mean. It sits nice and flat. There's definitely a bit of downturn from those lugs. If you have a bigger wrist than I do, or you're okay with a big watch, it wears very well in that sense. Also, I think the bracelet would be a really nice addition to this one. And the pocket shot to finish. I'm not normally a fan of blue dial watches. I don't think I own a blue dial watch in my permanent collection, but I have enjoyed this one. I think the blue leather strap certainly helps, as do all of those little yellow accents. So this is the moans and niggles section, but I think my moans and niggles with this one have been fairly apparent throughout. It's intense. There is a lot going on. It looks a little bit crushed to say the least on the dial. The hands are not super legible. They do rather get lost in amongst all of those little hash marks, the numerals, the letters, the 499 hash marks. 23mm lug width was a great idea, said no one ever. 22mm please, Citizen, if you do revise it in the future. But apart from that, I think it's pretty amazing. Citizen EcoDrive technology, okay, your average smartwatch will absolutely dance all over the top of this one, but if you're not into smartwatches, this offers quite a lot. Perpetual calendar, set and forget. If you live in an atomic clock zone, it's a bit of a boon as well. It's going to be incredibly accurate, incredibly reliable, 6 months of charge once you have it fully topped up on a window ledge or similar use. 200 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, Citizen brand name on the dial is also a really strong one. I'm getting quite into Citizen. I think last year I went through a run of Timex. This year it's going to be a run of Citizens. I just ordered myself an EcoDrive GMT online last night, so you can expect to see that one coming soon. Overall, if you like this style and feel it has a viable feature set for you, you can buy this one with confidence. You know, $400 is a ferociously competitive price bracket, but I think this watch does more than enough to hold its own in the category.
So there you have it, the Citizen Blue Angels chronograph. If you live in one of those areas covered by the atomic clock, you need never set this watch. If you live out with those areas, you really only need to set this watch once. It takes a little bit of effort, but not as much effort as I thought it took, to be honest. I just dilly-dallied with this one for some unknown reason. Now that it is set, I'll probably never have to set it again. Make a lot of sense, these watches, either as a daily or as a grab-and-go piece for sitting in the corner of your watch box. Eco Drive, 6 months charge on the battery. It's accurate as well. Fully featured, perpetual calendar, a whole heap of tech. I would probably be going for the one on the bracelet. It looks like a pretty decent bracelet if you can handle the size and that intense dial. Thanks for watching. I will see you all in a future video.